Well, I mean, the energy was good, and I thought the guys tried to give us kind of what we wanted. They don't know what that is yet, so there's a lot of new. I got coaches that don't know exactly what I want yet. That'll take a little time, and obviously the players trying to figure out what we want. But and their attitudes were great. You could tell they were excited about being out on the field, and it gives us an idea of what to work on. We'll watch tape and dissect it. I think we got a lot of work to do, but as I told them at the end, if they'll come with that kind of attitude, they'll work with that kind of work ethic, we'll have a chance. We just need to get to know each other, and that'll take some practices. Questions?
Coach Al Lewis from KBNU. Can you? How much in numbers do you have for spring football that are really playing?
We're just a little below 100. We got a pretty sizable roster now. We've got about 10 or so that aren't able to practice. They're limited in some capacity. So with the super seniors that COVID kind of created, and then bringing in 15 or so transfers, probably the largest active roster in spring ball that I've been a part of in my career, typically in the 80s. But we actually have a few more numbers than that right now, which is good. Creates some competition.
And then the other thing, it seems like spring football sometimes, and this is the first time you've looked at these guys on the field really, sometimes in spring football position changes happen. Or have you guys already anticipated some guys are going to play different spots than they played before for the Aggies, or do you think that comes to, in the spring?
I think we'll have to look at them a little bit more to get to that point. I mean, there's some guys that kind of stand out that have the versatility maybe to slide, but man, we got so much to learn between now and then. I think it's just getting acclimated to how we want practice to look. I think it's going to be a good bit different than what they're used to. Systems on both sides of the ball, coaches. I would say probably second half of spring is where more of those kind of conversations might fall into place.
Hey, Coach. Trent Wood with Deseret News. I was kind of going to piggyback off of what you just said, and it's just how much of spring ball for you is implementation of the systems that you brought in versus development of younger players, kind of developing the depth of the team?
I told them today there's really three things that we want to try to accomplish. Number one, that we just got to find out what kind of tempo and work ethic and effort level is expected. That's really the most important thing of spring. The second part would be the foundations, and I mean pure foundations of the scheme. And then probably third we need to see some guys that naturally kind of rise to the top as leaders. If we could get that done in 15 days, I would feel like it was a huge success. Obviously, we want to stay healthy. So I think we just got to be really patient and take this one day at a time and expect those things to be addressed on a daily basis before we worry about moving kind of beyond that.
Hey, Coach, Eric Franson with 106.9 The Fan. You have been on the job here a couple of months now, but before spring practices began, you guys were doing looked like some fun activities, trying to create competition and have fun, get to know who your players are, what your coaches can do with them. I guess besides what happened today, just if you wouldn't mind commenting on the lead up to today.
Yeah, we went 4 days a week during the off season and had a good 6.5 week uninterrupted cycle. And Coach Jackson, they were going twice a day. They're going at 6 a.m. and again in the afternoons, running sessions in the morning, lifting in the afternoon, or vice versa. The stuff you talked about, the fun, kind of competition stuff we did, those was just a few opportunities. Mainly, we just been grinding them, just trying to find out what their work capacity is, really try to build up a good cardio endurance level to go through spring and really see where we're at. But I thought they handled it well. It was obviously different, and I thought they bought into what Coach Jackson was trying to ask of them on a daily basis. I think he's been a guy they've been really excited about with his background, his track record. They bought in real quick, and you could tell there was a really good rapport and relationship built. We have been meeting with them as well, and so you could kind of see that today. They, for the most part, they had a good idea of what we wanted to do in terms of schematics. There's just so much to build on from there. The competitive stuff, the fun stuff was about culture. We want them to not be afraid of competition. That means there's going to be a winner and a loser, and you got to be prepared to go out and sometimes be the guy that doesn't win then figure out what you did wrong and do it again. So we want to put them in those kind of environments, and then we want to let them know it's okay to laugh and cut up and have a good time every once in a while. If you're going to work as hard as we're going to work, you somewhere along the way you got to find some balance and let these guys, laugh and kind of decompress. And I think we had a little bit of all those phases coming into spring ball.
Seems like, Coach, this year, new coach, the season wasn't real successful last year. There's got to be almost competition at every position, I would have to think, really, in your minds and in your coaches' minds. But is there areas that you really are interested in watching in spring come together at the end of day 15?
Well, you're right. There is competition at every position. We try to make it very clear that everybody starts with a clean slate, regardless if you were a starter or a backup or even didn't play in previous years. You got an opportunity to make a first impression with a new staff. For us, clearly on offense, we've got to have a trigger man. I mean, quarterback is what makes it all go. The offensive line is going to be the foundation for the offense. So those are some key spots that I think are going to be things that we definitely have to look at every day. But I would say we want daily movement at each position based off a guy's effort and attitude, and the fact that you can tell that they are studying and know what to do. So hopefully we can create competition at every single position. And I think as we get to know them a little bit better, we may find that we're deeper at some positions than other positions, and we may find some deficiencies that we didn't really know we had, whether it be depth or experience. So that's the hard part, year one, kind of day one of evaluating.
Coach, you mentioned the super seniors, and I was curious. Obviously, this is different and has never happened before, where you have this many guys as experienced as that coming back to a program. But have you ever had like a certain number of graduate transfers that kind of is it equivalent to this many guys who have played football for as long?
I haven't been through that much of the grad transfer experience. I only had a couple in previous years. That is becoming more and more of a trend now. But we didn't have that many at Arkansas State in the time that I was there. Just a guy or two that came in. This is unique to have this many guys that are allowed to play their extra year and that many guys that came back. So I'm hoping that will help in terms of the maturity of our team and the leadership of our team, and hopefully we can you guys have mentioned find the right spots for all of them to fit. We'll just have to see what kind of impact that makes as we go. This is uncharted territory for everybody.
All right, guys, we've got senior safety Shaq Bond. We'll have Shaq make an opening comment on his impressions and thoughts from practice today, and then you guys can go ahead and ask questions.
So my impression and thoughts for the day, great energy on both sides of the ball. Coaches held a lot of people accountable. Wasn't no loafing. A lot of things we did last year, we did differently this year. We had a new warm up, but overall, I think today was a great day for the first day.
Shaq, Al Lewis from KBNU. I'm just wondering, when you went towards last year and you started playing, did you really think in your mind that you'd be back out again this year playing football for the Aggies? I mean, was that always when they said, it wasn't going to count eligibility wise? Did you always kind of plan on coming back, or did you think that was going to happen?
I really didn't say I would plan on coming back. I had a lot of scouts trying to push me to go ahead and enter the draft, but I knew I had a lot of things I needed to fix behind the scenes that they didn't see quite often. So towards the end, I kind of made the decision I'm gonna go ahead and come back and just polish up on a few things that I needed.
Are you amazed that you've got so many guys that did come back? 14 supposedly is the number. That's a lot.
Yeah, I actually am. We had a decent amount of people hit the portal, but then the fact that, Coach Anderson, he brought them back. They seen that we had a good thing going. We had some new coaches. We had some new players come in and fill some spots we needed. And I think they just hopped back on the train and ready to roll.
Hey, Shaq. Trent Wood with Deseret News. I know this was the first day of spring ball, but kind of what is your comfort level with this coaching staff and what they're asking you to do?
My comfort level is very at a base level with them. I'm really good with the coaches. They trust me. I ask a lot of questions. I make sure that I'm in my playbook. Right now, I'm trying to just, keep coaching the young guys. They already picking it up easy, but just study talking to them so they know that they actually doing the right things. And but as the coaches, I feel like a lot of people are comfortable with them. They bring a lot to the table. They're very good players, coaches, but then when it's time to coach, they're going to be on you. So they hold you accountable.
Hey, Shaq, Eric Franson with 106.9 The Fan, and you were already a senior leader with this team a year ago. Even though there are a lot of guys coming back, there are still a lot of new faces. You talk about the young guys, but there's also a lot of these guys that were playing at high levels at other schools. Well, I guess, what kind of role do you feel like you play in helping them assimilate into the Utah State culture and really taking this football team to the next level?
Just how I go with the young guys, how I do with the new guys, just steady talking to them and being in their ear. And even when they do the right things, I'm letting them know you did the right stuff. Not trying to be a coach or nothing, but just, you feel me, just talking to them a lot and making sure that they comfortable and that they not thinking too much. And, but the new guys, how I go about them is, they kind of older, so I don't really have to talk too much to them. It's kind of when, if I see things are going wrong, then, we can kind of chime in, but I'm going to let them do how they do and just kind of merge in.
Hey, Shaq, you mentioned that spring ball, the start of it was a little bit different than last year. What was the biggest difference today versus how you did spring ball last year and the year before that?
The biggest difference was honestly the warm-up. We did a very different warm-up today. We did a group warm-up as individuals. So that was very different. But other than that, it was the fact that, we had a 35-minute before practice. So that was kind of different.
Shaq, let me ask you just quickly, your first practice, is the defense a lot different this year? I mean, do you think scheme-wise it's going to be a different team to play with defensively?
Yeah, it's a whole new scheme. We ain't doing nothing from last year at all. Everything is new. Everything is looking real good, especially with the players we have in those positions now. So it's looking real nice, and it's going to be hard to scheme against because we don't have this on film. So.
And Shaq, how do you feel fit into that, and how you could be featured with your experience and skill set?
I feel like I fit in very well. Coach Bonda, he's had a lot of safeties into the league with the defense that he's in, and then the spot he's put me in, which is the spot they were in. And as of today, it played out perfectly of how it played out for them. So I just want to stay on his track and keep believing in him, because he got the track record of safeties that's into the league and stayed in the league. So I'm gonna just keep trusting in him and just keep building.
We've got senior wide receiver Jordan Nathan. We'll have Jordan make an opening comment as well on his thoughts and impressions from practice number 1. And then you guys can ask questions.
How you guys doing? Jordan Nathan here. Today's practice was exciting. I haven't felt like this since, dare I say, 2018, when we were like really doing something. Just the whole atmosphere was just exciting. The receivers doing what they're supposed to do, everything, was detailed. Even on the defensive side as well, like everything was so competitive, and we missed that the last few years, the last couple of years, I should say. So that's pretty much it for
that. Jordan, I asked Shaq the same thing. Did you really think you'd be sitting back here playing Aggie football, even when you went into that shortened season last year and they said the season wouldn't count against you eligibility-wise? Did you think you'd come back?
Honestly, no. Last year it was hard on everybody, and it was really hard on me because, losing, and then I felt like I wasn't contributing because I wasn't producing, I wasn't getting the ball. It was just a whole bunch of stuff. And I'll go home and sit at night and just sit there and like, dang, like what more can I do? And it was horrible. It was the lowest I've probably been in a while, like mentally. It was mentally draining, I'll put it like that. And I didn't really picture myself coming back. Either I was gonna, try to declare for NFL and train for that, or, change schools. But my mom, we talked about this for a long time. She gave me long lectures of why I should stay here and why she felt in her heart that I belong here. And, you know, and I understood that. And I felt as if I had unfinished business here. You know, I had a bad taste in my mouth, and I want to leave with a great taste. I love Utah State football, and this place gave me everything, gave me a full-ride scholarship and brought me back. So, you know, I'm very grateful, and I will forever, you know, be an Aggie. So, yeah.
Hey, Jordan, Trent Wood with Deseret News. I kind of want to follow up with what you just talked about. You were clearly excited today, and last year was super hard. How soon after Coach Anderson got here with the new staff did the atmosphere around the program change for you?
Oh, it was night and day. You know, everything seemed, like I said earlier, very detailed. You know, everything's organized. Everybody's on the same page. Nobody's showing up late. Workouts, everybody was busting their tails. And then we felt like a team, you know, brotherhood. We all held each other accountable, from the leaders to even to the walk-ons. We were all encouraging each other to be better. And, you know, Coach A brought that. He brought that whole energy here, and him and the staff. You know, he asked us to get better, 1 degree better every day, and I think we were doing that even today. So it was a great sign when he came in here, because I seen the automatic change and just the whole vibe and energy from the team in itself.
Hey, Jordan, Eric Franson from 106.9 The Fan. I'm not going to ask you to compare, because I don't think that's totally fair. But if we include Frank Maile as an interim head coach, that's 4 head coaches in the time that you've been at Utah State. Just from a player perspective, how challenging is that to go through that, and just where do you feel like the team is now after having gone through all this change over the last few years?
You know, the hardest thing, 2 things. Hardest thing with that, one, you know, is the relationships that are lost. You know, we build these great relationships with these coaches and even players that, you know, that had to leave because, you know, of certain changes, stuff like that. That's also hard. And then, you know, the biggest thing is trust. You know, things past couple of years have been going south, and it's like, dang, who do we trust? You know, people don't want to stay here, or whatever the case is. I think trust is a huge factor in everything. And what was your second question again? I'm sorry.
Just how it's been like as a player to try to go through that kind of a change, and just what it's like now trying to move forward.
Going through this change is, like I said, mentally draining, because, you know, you lose all these relationships and you have to reestablish yourself. I mean, I always have the, you know, viewpoint of me reestablish myself every year. I don't think my position is always, you know, solidified. I have to work my tail off because you have people coming in here, but, you know, just having to reestablish yourself. And by doing that, you have to have mental stamina. You know, I talked about being mentally drained earlier in this interview. I've learned to increase my mental stamina, and that's being able to wake up every day with a smile on my face, with whatever's going on in my life, whether it's back home or here, and, you know, be here for my teammates and coaches and show them that I'm willing to do whatever it takes to be the best version of myself. And, you know, that was evident today. I feel like I bust my tail for the team, and the team gave that same energy back.
Can I ask you, Jordan, to give us just a quick preview of the Aggie offense? A completely different looking offense, or what can you tell us about it?
Same type of, you know, offense as 2017, 2018. Fast pace, extremely fast, maybe a little too fast for the first day. But it's amazing. You know, our offense is really predicated on the defense. Whatever the defense gives us is what we're going to take. And that's just simple in terms. You guys will see in the near future. You guys will love the offense, fast pace.
Jordan, is that type of offense more fun for you? I don't want to say the offense of the past couple of years hasn't been as fun, but is it more comfortable for you, more fun to play in a super high-paced offense?
No, since I started out playing in a fast offense, you know, when I first you know, played against Wisconsin, so I'm very much comfortable with it. Only thing that's hard is trying to get into shape for that offense. So that's not the fun part. But the fun part is, you know, having the defense on their toes, and you look out there on the field and you see the defense gas, and you still have more energy to go because just what you've been doing. I love exhilarating, exciting offenses because, I mean, who doesn't like offenses that are high flying and just throwing the ball all over the place, you know?